University Department of Information and Communication Technology, MGM University, Aurangabad. Welcome you all for joining this one-day workshop on augmented and virtual reality. Before beginning, I would like to share with you that we are going to give you the link for learning evaluation during the end of the workshop, and only those who have given the test will be getting the certificates. So let's begin with the main objectives of this workshop. The main objectives of this workshop are to aware about latest trends in augmented and virtual reality, applications of AR/VR in everyday life, applied research on immersive experience using AR, VR, and etc. We are very fortunate to have with us Dr. Sharvari Tamane, Ms. Rajalakshmi M, Dr. Krishnan Umachandran, Mr. Mahesh Anand, and Dr. Lakshmana Prakash as our speakers today. It is a pleasure for all of us to have such well-known personalities with us today. So let us begin today's workshop. I would like to briefly introduce the speakers, starting with Dr. Sharvari Tamane. She's professor and head, University Department of Information and Communication Technology, MGM University, Aurangabad, with teaching experience of 25 plus years. She completed her master's in computer engineering from Mumbai University in the year 2006 and further completed her PhD from Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar, Marathwada University, Aurangabad. Her research area involves cloud computing, security, big data, neural network, and fuzzy logic. She has published more than 70 research papers in international, national journals and conferences. She has been granted 3 patents in Australian and German government and published 3 patents in Indian Patent Advanced Search System, Government of India. Published 3 copyrights in the Copyright Office of Government of India. She has also published 3 edited books, 10 chapters with IGI Global and Springer, and a textbook on data structures using C. 3 research scholars have been awarded PhD CSE degrees under her guidance. Currently guiding 8 research scholars under Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Marathwada University and MGM University, Aurangabad. Ma'am has received Best HOD of the Year Award at CSI Tech Next India 2019, and her edited book, Big Data Analytics for Smart and Connected Cities, made it to Book Authority's Best Big Data Books of All Time. Now I request Dr. Sharvari Tamane ma'am to start her session on applications of AR/VR in everyday life.
Yeah, thank you, Annam. I'm sharing my screen first. Yeah, is it visible?
Yes, it is visible, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. It's okay if I turn off my camera.
I'm okay.
Yeah. So thank you so much, Annam. So good afternoon, everyone again. I'm Dr. Tamane, Professor and Head of Department of Information Technology. So my topic for presentation is applications of augmented and virtual reality in everyday life. So these are the contents of my presentation. So augmented reality, virtual reality, difference between AR, VR, types of AR, working of AR, applications, then working of VR also, applications of VR, and advantages and disadvantages of VR and future of AR, VR. So we'll start with augmented reality. So augmented reality is one of the biggest technology trends right now, and it's only going to get bigger as AR ready smartphones and other devices become more accessible around the world. So augmented reality allows us to see the world in front of us, either through a smartphone, headsets, or smart glasses with an overlay of digital augmentation. So for example, cartoon characters or fantasy creatures can be seen socializing and blending in with the real world. So the most popular example is the Pokemon Go app. So where users can use their smartphones to collect and battle Pokemon in their real world environment. Furniture retailers like IKEA and Amazon. So they also have augmented reality functions that place pieces of furniture and decor in our home, so we can see what it looks like in real life. AR also lets us see a real-time, real life environment in front of us, like trees swaying in the park, dogs chasing balls, or the kids playing saucer. So with a digital augmentation overlay on it, for example, pterodactyl might be seen landing in the trees, or the dogs could be mingling with their cartoon counterparts, or the kids could be seen kicking past an alien spacecraft on their way to score the goal. So with advances in AR technology, so these examples are not that different from what might already be available for our smartphone. So augmented reality is in fact readily available for being used of in the myriad of ways, like Snapchat lenses, or in the apps which help you to find the car in a crowded parking lot, or in variety of shopping apps also, so that we can also even try the clothes without even leaving the home. So like this, there are different real-time applications also. Then we can also use it in the enhanced navigation system. So to superimpose the route over the live view of a road. Then during the football game also, it can be used to broadcast the or to draw the lines on the field to illustrate and analyze plays. So as I said earlier also, regarding that IKEA feature houseware, so that is also there. Then we also have the military fighter pilots that can be projected on their altitude, speed, and other data on their helmet visor. So which means they don't need to waste focus on glancing down to see them. So like this, there are different applications of this. Then in medical field also, it has applications like neurosurgeons sometimes use an AR projection of a 3D brain to aid them in surgeries. We can also use it in the historical sites like Pompeii in Italy. So AR can project views on ancient civilizations over today's ruins, bringing the past to life. Then we also have the its application in the ground crew at Singapore's airport. So where they can wear the AR glasses to see information about cargo containers, speeding up loading times. So it has n number of applications available with this. And regarding virtual reality, so it is the ability to view an entirely virtual world through a VR headset or head-mounted display. So these simulations involve as many senses as possible in the experience to completely immerse the user in a virtual world. So users are able to interact with 3D worlds through commands or controls on VR systems. And with AR, the user has the ability to detect the real world. And on the other hand, VR users are restrained by the system's creations. So what's the difference between the AR and VR? So AR and VR are forms of extended reality and differ from one another from their uses to how they work. So here are, we can see some of the differences of it. The use of AR in the businesses allows the customers to try before they buy. So as I've shown you one example also. So they can see a version of business products and services, including hair colors or coloring or clothing and jewelry through a lens of augmented reality. Then AR gives customers the chance to see if a product is right for them, cutting down on the number of returns and costly shipping methods for businesses. AR can also be used to teach 3D anatomy to medical students, or in it can also be used in tourism for users to enjoy a self-guided tour. And regarding VR, it has its own uses that can further a business success as the pandemic moves the world more toward the virtual connections. So VR can be used to create virtual meetings or rooms for customers to mingle and get to know the layout of a brick and mortar store, or allow them to virtually test out a new product. It can also support mental health through exposure therapy, as well as create learning opportunities in the education field. Then we can use different softwares. So in case of VR, it requires headset that's connected to the simulated digital platform, while AR only requires a smartphone to see the XR. VR headsets use 6 degrees of freedom motion tracking, meaning that not only are users able to see in all directions, they can sense themselves moving as well. Then the interaction. So with AR, the user has the ability to detect the real world, and on the other hand, VR users are restrained by the system's creation and settings created by the developers. And when a user puts on a VR headset, their brains are not able to distinguish between the virtual reality they are currently in and the real world. And this allows the user to be completely immersed in the VR experience. AR is more limited to this in this respect, because XR must be seen and interacted with on a screen such as a smartphone. Then in case of the happy medium, so mixed reality is a combination of both the sensory experience from VR and the connection between XR and the real world from AR. In mixed reality, users are able to interact with both real world experiences and perceived conditions created through an extended reality. A mixed reality is seen through headsets, including holographic devices and immersive devices. In case of technology, so it takes some sophisticated technology to create augmented reality experiences. And how does the augmented reality work? And it all comes down to location or identification. In case of equipment, the AR images can be displayed on a multitude of devices, including eyeglasses and goggles, headsets and heads-up displays like helmet visors. But the most common way to use AR these days is on a smartphone and in a variety of apps and games. There are 2 types of AR, like the marker-based AR and markerless AR. In case of marker-based AR, it uses image recognition to identify the objects that have been pre-programmed into our AR device or app. This will help the AR device to determine the position and orientation of its camera. And first, the camera feed is switched to grayscale to speed up the processing time. And when it detects a marker, the device compares the information from the marker with all the markers in its brain. Once it finds a match, it uses the marker's information to mathematically determine the pose, and it then displays the AR image at the right place. So there is one museum like the Franklin in the Franklin Institute. So by pointing the phone's camera at a marker on an information plate, then one might be able to instantly see more about the artifact at which we are looking. Companies can also create AR experiences triggered by specific markers like QR codes, and that can be scanned with our smartphone. Second type is markerless. It is quite trickier. So not having the markers means that nothing has been pre-programmed into our device. It has to recognize items on the fly, and the recognition algorithm in our device looks for patterns, colors, or other features that might tip it off. So the popular mobile game like the Pokemon Go is an example of this, and so which can track the location via the GPS and then uses the geographic data and the phone's clock to choose when and where the Pokemon characters appear. So if you are walking by a river in the daytime, so you might see a water loving creature for that. So that can be also done. And the working of AR. So augmented reality aligns the real and virtual worlds to create something more immersive and powerful for users. The most common forms of AR involve adding data into a real world environment through the use of camera lens or a set of smart glasses. So perhaps the most significant components of AR are sensors to align the real and virtual landscapes. AR systems need to be able to quickly capture the accurate information about the real world. Sensors and cameras allow for this, and when a camera or sensor collects information, it sends it to an app or software for processing purpose. AR software is the apps and tools we use to access AR. So these days, it's becoming much easier for people to create their own AR software. Processing AR technology requires processing power to work. For an AR app on a smartphone, this means leveraging the power of the phone's operating system. Most smart glasses need their own miniature computer system for this. In case of lenses and viewing, so the AR glasses and AR apps on smartphones need a lens or image platform, so we can see the digital content in the real world. The better the quality of the screen, the more realistic the content appears. The AI is also used over here. So most AR solutions leverage some aspects of AI to work properly. AI can play a supportive role alongside AR by allowing the users to complete actions using their voice. AI can also help to process information for our AR application. So what we can do with the AR? There are so many different applications available. So we discussed some, but I would like to give more examples. It can be used in the entertainment and events, like the Pokemon I already told. So these apps could also be valuable in the future of events by allowing the users to get information when they are attending the conference or just by accessing their phone even. AR apps gives customers an opportunity to try products before they buy them or learn how to use items in a more immersive environment. AR tools can create better engagement with instruction manuals or help customers solve problems by giving them more actionable information they can use with the real world context. In case of marketing also, it has the big application. We can use the marketing as an excellent tool for advertising and marketing. We have seen example of this also. We can make use of QR codes to allow the users to unlock special deals and information in AR apps. Then in case of navigation, it is used correctly, and the technology can help to navigate our surroundings more effectively. Users can scan their AR tags in a building to get directions on where to go or flow or follow AR arrows to find their destination. In case of collaboration, using the AR technology in wearables, allow the employees to get guidance and support from specialists regardless of where they are. This will enable the better collaboration and safer work in the field. Then AR can even improve the way we train professionals by allowing them to practice tasks and develop skills in the real world with real-time immersive instructions. Even in the healthcare industry, it uses AR to help train students. Then in case of metaverse, the metaverse is a virtual world where users share experiences and interact in real time within simulated scenarios. Mobile AR refers to augmented reality functionalities accessible via apps on mobile devices, particularly smartphones. The existing smartphone ecosystem, consumer comfort with smartphones, and the improving computing capabilities of these devices are the major drivers of mobile AR. In case of contact lenses, AR capable contact lenses are in development that could turn AR into a more natural, intuitive, and accessible utility. A combination of voice commands and eye movements would enable the user to view weather and traffic updates or walking directions right in their line of sight without any visible eyewear. Web AR allows the users to experience AR content through web browsers rather than using a standalone app. And the AI technologies such as machine learning, conversational platforms, and AI chips power most of today's AR devices and apps. AR developers use machine learning to improve the user experiences by continually analyzing user activities. Then in case of 5G, the bandwidth limitations of current telecom networks are a significant factor restricting AR's growth, and non-AR gaming requires latency of under 100 milliseconds. I'm sorry. So for a satisfactory user experience, but while AR gaming requires the latencies of less than 20 milliseconds, so thus the 5G's expected latency of 1 millisecond should deliver excellent experiences of AR applications, including gaming and streaming of live events. The cloud services are critical enablers of AR, allows the developers to process, store, and analyze their AR content and consumer data. AR content is stored on cloud platforms and made available on demand, as most AR devices come with limited processing and storage capacities. So this approach reduces the need for high-end on-device processing. However, the device's distance from the remote server and network latency can inhibit the flow content. So this is about the AR applications. The concept of virtual reality is a combination of two words. So when we go for it, so the virtual and the real. Virtual means nearly or conceptually, which results in an experience that's near reality through the utilization of technology. So software creates and serves up virtual worlds that are experienced by users who wear hardware devices like goggles, headphones, and special gloves. And together the user can view and interact with the virtual world as if from within. So we understand our surroundings through our senses, and therefore the perception mechanisms of our body. Senses include taste, touch, smell, sight, and hearing. Also add spatial awareness and balance. The input gathered by these senses are processed by our brains to form interpretations of the target environment around us. So virtual reality attempts to make an illusory environment which will be presented to our senses with artificial information, making our minds believe it's almost a reality. So there are different types of virtual reality. Non-immersive virtual reality. So this could be a form of virtual reality during which we act with a virtual atmosphere, sometimes through a laptop, wherever we will manipulate some characters or things to do inside the experience. And on the other hand, the digital surroundings are not immediately interacting with us. Second type is fully immersed virtual reality. It is the opposite of non-immersive virtual reality. It ensures a sensible virtual experience. It might feel as if we are a physical gift within the virtual world, and therefore the events occurring there are happening with us. So spatial instrumentation like VR glasses, gloves, body detectors equipped with sense detectors is needed to supply a realistic virtual experience. The information from these sensors is employed by the PC, and the virtual world responds to it in period to provide users with a realistic virtual experience. In case of semi-immersive virtual reality, it is something in between non-immersive and absolutely immersive virtual reality. It employs a visual display unit or VR glasses through which we move around during a virtual environment, but excluding the visual expertise, we may not have any physical sensations to reinforce the experience. So a virtual tour is often an honest example of this semi-immersive virtual technology. Augmented reality could be a form of virtual reality, which allows the user to see the important world sometimes through a phone screen, and build virtual changes there too on the screen. An honest example that can assist us to perceive this augmented reality is the mobile game application, that is Pokemon Go. In case of collaborative VR, it is a shape of digital truth. Anywhere customers from one of a kind areas will shut for the duration of a digital surroundings in the sort of 3D projected characters, and a virtual environment of a mobile game like Player Unknown's Battleground, where virtual 3D characters of various players come together and that they all act with each other's virtual persona there in the environment. So is the example of this collaborative VR. There are also different applications of VR. It is most useful in the education. It is creating the nice inroads into education with an overseas range of startups and established corporations providing packaged experiences and services geared towards schools. The 3D world has the open doors for teachers in the world of mathematics. So where the VR technology allows students to visualize and interact with mathematical functions that would be more difficult to understand in a 2D medium, like a whiteboard or the computer screen. And it can be also used as a teaching and learning as an effective technology, which is emerging technology. It can be also used in industry and work. In the pandemic, it has modified the several things concerning the way we work, together with the wholesale shift to home operating for big numbers of employees. So this can bring the challenges of the necessity to retain an environment that fosters cooperative activity and therefore the building of a company culture. VR socialization. There are already a variety of VR-based social platforms that enable friends or strangers to meet up and chat or play in a virtual environments. VR in games. So it is the most useful application or mostly used application, we can say. So the most obvious and popular VR application, of course, is the video games. And the VR gaming pushed technology in 90s and demand forward. So today the games continue to do so by designing the VR specific games that enters the consumers into buying their own VR sets. Sets now come with a head-mounted display as well as hand controllers for a full experience. It is also used in telecommunications. In 2020, when the coronavirus pandemic closed offices and forced the users into the work from home lifestyle, the demand for better telecommunications tech skyrocketed. So as companies continue to extend work from home terms into an unforeseeable future, so VR technology is entering the telecommunication space. Companies are looking to bring employees together despite the physical distances. It can be also used in mental health. One of the more groundbreaking functions of virtual reality that is being explored is the mental health. Specifically, VR has been used as a tool to treat veterans with post-traumatic stress disorder. Computer scientists have been able to generate VR environments that simulate battlefield scenarios, and this has helped the veterans who suffer from this post-traumatic stress disorder to partake in immersion therapy in a controlled environment. It is also used in the entertainment industry, in movie theaters. So movie lovers seem to be abandoning the theaters for the comfort of their own home and the commercially available VR. So VR technology only propagate this further. So these are the various advantages of virtual machines. So which provides the outstanding visualizations. Then it creates interest, increase students' engagements. Then doesn't desire work. The improves the standard of education in several fields, eliminates the language barrier. And the disadvantages of the AR are like this. So I'll just not read this. And the last slide, like the future of the AR. So the AR will be a key technology in the future of work. So with visualization involving the use of images or graphics to convey information or communicate messages. So many workers are required to aggregate, analyze, and interpret vast amounts of constantly changing and expanding data. So this technology make the AR apps even more accessible to masses in the future of smartphones. So I think this is the future, and therefore we need to, it is the time to move towards the AR and VR technologies more and more, so that we can make our life or live our life in a better way. So thank you so much. This is all from my side.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am, for explaining what is AR, VR, how it works, its types, application, advantage, disadvantages, and its future scope with such easy examples. Now we have with us Ms. Rajalakshmi Mahadevan, an XR developer currently working as a metaverse game developer at Aviram Studios Private Limited, Cochin. Ma'am has 2.5 years of experience as a Unity, AR and VR game developer. Her area of interest involves game development using virtual, augmented and mixed reality. I request me ma'am to start her session on applied research on immersive experience using AR, VR, and XR.
Hello all. First, thank you so much for your warm welcome and hearty good evening to all. It's my privilege to be with you all in this webinar sessions with applied research on immersive experience using AR, VR, and MR. So I would like to share my screen. So, yes. Hi, I'm Rajalakshmi. I'm a XR developer. I'm from Aviram Studios and in Cochin. So, I have really worked on industrial experiences like Tamil Nadu tourism, virtual reality in Tamil Nadu tourisms, and another museum, Egmont museums, virtual reality, and several other government projects and all. So here, let me start the session. So today I am going to cover about the ARVR technology and applied research on ARVR in education, medical, automotive, simulations, and I would like to show you how many companies are using the XR. So the first is augmented and virtual reality. Virtual reality is a computer-generated scenario that simulates a realistic experience. So, the immersive environment can be similar to the real world, but it is like a virtual objects. It gives us a reality and sci-fi feel to us. So, current VR technology, it commonly uses the virtual reality headsets and multi-projected environments, sometimes with combination with physical environments, or to use the generate realistic images, sounds, and other sensations to stimulate the physical experience in the virtual and imaginary environment. So a person using virtual reality equipment is able to look around the artificial world and move around in it and interact with the virtual objects. So the effect in virtual reality headsets, it's consisting of a head-mounted display with a small screen in front of our eyes. But it also can be created especially with multiple large screens also. So if you put the headset, means obviously you will feel the entire virtual reality world. You will be like feeling in the real world. So coming to augmented reality. So augmented reality is an arena that offers a wide range of MR technology opportunities. It is a technology where the both virtual and real world environments are merged. The virtual spaces is where the real world objects are deeply integrated into virtual worlds to generate new environments and analyzes where the digital and physical entities coexist and interact in a significant time. So such resources including like in AR storytelling, gamified presence. So you can see the Pokemon, you can teach kids using the AR, you can scan the image and the song will play, kind of that. AR technology fundamentally extends the perception of true component of humans by integrating significant advanced information into a real environment. So AR helps a consumer to work in a real world situation. In rational interpretation and in a gaming distraction, expanded reality, conditions are fundamentally related. The advantage of the implemented AR devices in this project might be provide investors with a quick and easy setup, wherein if for going with the virtual reality devices, it may cost us over kinds of it costs us more. We will go preferably go with the augmented reality. So it can be implemented in our own mobile itself. So the execution of an AR as a new customer interface allows a totally new approach to the for the clothing stores also. So if you go to a fabric store, you can take a phone and you can click scan the mannequin, and you can add the dresses to it and change the colors and all. So you have the options in varies in augmented reality. So augmented reality is a liberation mechanism that allows users to communicate telepathically, such as scaling, rotating, and changing everything to the every 3D objects to that. So you can take your mobile phone and you can walk around everywhere. You can see the virtual objects in your real world.
Yeah, Rajalakshmi, your screens are not moving.
Yes,
We are still seeing augmented and
yeah. I am speaking with the augmented and the virtual reality only.
okay, thank you.
So coming to next, so here comes the applied research on augmented and virtual reality in the real life. So how we are going to use the immersive experience in our real life. So the first thing is education. So the education industry has typically been slow in embarrassing new technologies. However, in this ever-changing world, it's vital that industry implement new technologies such as AR and VR to stay relevant. By creating an immersive and interactive learning experience without the use of textbooks, AR/VR technology empowers learners to explore and learn at their own pace. Thus, it simulates the learning and comprehensions and enhances the critical rendition. VR and AR based apps for education that combine digital technologies and learning that improves the educational process and allows students to acquire the information visually. These technologies provide a solid base to improve the education process. For example, a learner can learn about a jungle in animals by taking an expedition to a digital jungle using a smartphone, and you can use the simple VR cardboard also. And without having to step out the classroom or their home, the student can visit the forest area in solar systems. They can even go to the space and they can visually analyze what the spaces will be look like. So this kind of opportunity that simulates the students to learn the technology even better. So so in many schools, they are implementing live AR classrooms. As I said, you can use the animated AR control. You can see this space astronaut is moving in the real world. You can see this. You can know what to do with it. And in the second picture, you can see the girl is using MR devices, and she is learning with the how to model the 3D and all. So she is learning with that AR and VR devices. So in many schools and colleges, they are trying to implement the live AR classroom in their schools so that students can learn in a better way. So if you want to see a Mohenjo-daro or like that city means, you can't go because that city is already destroyed or gone by our natural disasters. But in virtual reality, we can recreate how the civilization was there, and we can show it to the students how we can teach the history. We can recreate the history in virtual reality and we can teach the students. This is how an AR VR works. So coming to next is like medical. So AR and VR for medical treatment. AR and VR for medical treatment. This technology has the potential for doctors to see under patient's skin without having to cut open them. So if doctors have to proceed the surgery means, they don't have to, they obviously they have to work on how they are going to do the surgery. They have to plan. So for their planning purposes, this virtual reality and augmented reality mixed reality will help them. It can help the doctors determine exactly where to make incisions or give injections. And a display might even provide instructions, for examples, where to push for CPR or where the targets for repair to lie. This has been tested by doctors at Imperial College and St. Mary's Hospital in London with Microsoft HoloLens AR glasses used to aid in reconstructive surgery for patients who have suffered leg injuries in traffic accidents. Doctors are able to virtually see the bones and blood vessels and identify where their targets are. So, AR is also being used for patients who are visually impaired. This smart glasses uses AR to allow patients to see the outside of the world. Many patients can now see the details such as the faces around them, which they could never see before. VR is being looked at as a way to literally transform the hospital or doctor's office into anywhere that it needs to be for the patient. So they can connect virtually to the patients and they can guide them too. So here, in medical industry, not only for performing surgeries, it can be used for also teaching the medical students. Many students have a trouble grasping in certain concepts such as the biology process or in a bone and organ studies because they have trouble visualization these process. AR can provide students with accurate visuals of unobservable concepts through 3D models, which can help students grasp concepts that they struggle with and prevent them from misunderstanding the information about these studies. The generic 3D anatomical model is attached to internal anatomy registration skeleton and wrapped on the death image using novel elastic deformer subject to the closest point registration force and anatomical constraints. So this 3D model is implemented in the anatomical and medical sides also. This usually medical students take the bodies from archery and they will examine and all. So this is the process they used to do. But using virtual reality, they can be see the anatomical and every organs in the human body using the virtual reality, and they can study clearly what is what without any confusion. They don't have to be in they can study even better and clearly in their subject. So this technology also has a superimposing the anatomy onto the student images that allows to create a real-time augmented reality experience. So while coming into the superimposing anatomy, this can be also used in the crime solving also. So if you see some movies means they are referred like if you have a skeleton means with the skeleton you can superimpose us into another images. So that is the way of one of the way in AR is useful. So next thing is automotive. So the automotive industry is like one of the most important sectors of the economy. In order to deliver the best possible product, and automatic manufacturers are constantly using the current technology. With AR, you can explore the products in detail using interactivity such as disassembling and reassembling part by part of the entire product. This perspective of learners or trainees provides a richer and meaningful encounter. So here for automotive, you will have a remote AR remote assistance. So you will have a unlimited AR enabled video calls, and you have a multiple expert sessions, and you have a unique connect codes that make a starting and quitting easily. So you can also be used for repair and resolve issues more quickly by enabling frontline workers in a real time. if you're like expert in this area, but you are in the outside, you can automatically take your phone and you can go to a video call and you can scan the image and you can guide them. This is where the problem occurs. You have to do the things here. So you can automatically uh, guide your assistants to what to do in the cars and manufacturing. So this thing will eliminate the unnecessary travel cost and cost associated with the repeated visits. So this reduce downtime and accelerate problem resolution by connecting your field technicians and customers to experts who can guide them through troubleshooting and repair process. So keep field technicians safe as they maintain hazardous machinery and work in environments by enabling experts to mark up at technicians live with callouts and specific details. So if you are working in a hazardous industrial machines means you may be occurred into a accidents without any accident knowledge to work on how to work on that machinery. So you can use that with the help of AR, you can virtual reality, you can get the training on that, how to use that without getting, you don't have to get accidents or sufferings, anything at all. You can go to the, put the virtual reality machine and you can start getting training how to operate that machine, how safely we can use that machine. So we can get training on that. So with the AR remote assistance, I would like to show you one YouTube video that explains how the AR chalk remote assistance works. So can you see my video?
Yes, please.
Digital transformation should empower people. Today, a high-performance workforce requires extensive training programs, equipment maintenance, travel, and support systems. Yet, the traditional means of sharing expertise are inefficient and time-consuming. Now we've created a new way to tackle these business requirements. This is Vuforia Chalk, an easy-to-use, powerful support tool that allows your workforce to collaborate in real time, anywhere. Chalk enables your workforce to connect for support or training. First, employees can share a live view of their workspace with an expert or coworker.
The waste valve here. Now that that's closed, you can turn on your surface wash valve, which is here.
Okay, got it. Both people can draw on the world and work together as if they are together. And thanks to Vuforia Augmented Reality technology, your annotations stick exactly where they're drawn, even when you move around as you work. In fact, you can pause the live view to draw easy to follow multi-step instructions. With Chalk, simple instructions help you solve complex problems quickly and effectively. Chalk works on mobile devices, meaning your most experienced minds are accessible anytime, anywhere.
And then you want to open either one of these two motor meters here.
Having your best minds on the job remotely means solving the problem right the first time, reducing equipment downtime, and improving your bottom line. Chalk is ideal for service and training, and for other forms of collaboration too.
Okay, and lower the tongue and let's lose this eyelid.
It's easy for your team to work together or give feedback from almost anywhere in the world, saving you time and money.
You did a great job your first time there. Thank you.
Accuracy, efficiency, collaboration. Chalk brings your workforce together, simple, intuitive tools they love to use. Vuforia Chalk. See it, solve it together.
Yes. So I hope you understand how the AR remote assistance works more clearly now. So I would like to move on to another thing. This is called simulations. So the simulators are widely utilized in a spread of things in human life, especially in areas that needed special skills, which may only be obtained through the practices or hours of flying time. The simulations, in the sense, we can use it in flying, car driving, and any vehicle or simulations we can use to train in that. The utilization of simulators may be very effective method of learning to understand the functions and working of a tool or a unit, especially for a novice. By using the simulator, the learner is going to be ready to use the tools for the first time unit far better than before. In the field of aviation, especially in pilot training, a pilot must carefully know the proper procedures to work on an aircraft that uses every panel or tool to tools. So the advantage of employing a simulator compared to actual flight is that trainer gives a far better safety during which the simulator. So for in a simulator, I would like to introduce the haptic glove that is like Dept sensors. This gives the realistic feel in our hands to in if you are in a virtual reality, obviously we have to use our hands to use the to clutch the brake, to fly up, to fly down. Everything should be accurate. For that, this Dept sensor haptic gloves is used. So it has the 160 frames per second data that eliminates a lag for instantaneous response times, perfect for the most demanding enterprises applications. It has a 10 smart fabric blend sensor located above on each and knuckle provide bend accurately a plus or minus 1.5 degrees. So 9-degree IMU provide extremely low drift and reliable pre-blended accelerometer and gyro sensor data. Hey, 6 haptic actuators are located on 4 fingertips, thumb, and the palm. Micro USB-C connector charges from internal lithium battery in 2 hours for in all battery life. Accuracy and precision is provided by property finger bend sensors with under 6 million response time. Universal support for variety of development environments. This can be used with Unity, Unreal, Windows API, Java support, and more. This is like quick and easy integrations where we can use for simulations and training purposes and all. So next thing is like what are the companies using the AR, VR, and XR? Obviously, we know the Oculus is now taken care by Facebook by Mark. So here, for now, in current news, the Mark is creating avatars and metaverse field is widely growing up, and if we are in a pandemic state, in COVID states, we can't go and meet everyone in every place. So in that term, the virtual meet is evolved everywhere, and metaverse terms also evolved. So in that, Oculus also evolved, and we are using Oculus as a virtual reality device. So in Oculus, we are having an Oculus Quest, which has also a hand tracking facilities also. So we don't have to use the controllers and all. We can directly, it all scans our hand, and we can touch in the air. We can control using with our hand alone. We don't have to use any gloves and all, just it will track our place and hand. We can use it to move objects using the hand, like we are going to use in a mixed reality. So next thing is a VR, and in YouTube we obviously know it has a virtual reality facilities. We can connect our virtual reality devices or the smartphones. We can see the 360-degree of our videos and all. And next thing is like Steam VR. Steam VR obviously we widely used for a gaming purposes and all. Not only for gaming purposes, it is a virtual reality device used with the sensors. It tracks the overall locations of our room space, and it can be widely used in the simulations and training purposes. And Google, it's also using the virtual reality and augmented reality for in their websites, so that user can they are using the web AR in Google or trying to implement in that. And next thing is Next VR, and Daydream is also another virtual reality device. The eighth wall is like a virtual reality platform which can be created in the web. So if you are going, we are in the eighth wall is actually we can go to create the virtual reality applications which can be used in the websites. So in websites, we can connect our virtual reality and we can visit. This doesn't have to be in application or not. We can directly upload in the websites. For that, eighth wall is used. And next thing is a Milk VR. Milk VR is also one virtual reality platforms and devices. It uses the virtual reality and augmented reality thing. So thank you for giving me this opportunity. There is n number of immersive experiences in augmented and virtual reality. I hope I covered everything. I said clearly. I hope you understand everything and all. Thank you. Thank you for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you, Rajalakshmi.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate you for your brilliant explanation in such an easy way. Now, we have with us Professor Mahesh Anand sir, who is robotics and programming trainer and is responsible for teaching school students basic electronics, Arduino, wireless technology, IoT, artificial intelligence, drones, and 3D designs. Sir completed his bachelor's degree in computer science engineering from Anna University, Coimbatore in the year 2017. His specialization and area of interest involves web application and mobile applications, process automation, machine learning, IoT, wireless technology, BCI, and drone. Sir has also experience as a robotics instructor in BrainBots, Chennai. I request Dr. Mahesh Anand sir to address us on AR and IoT.
Hello all, 1 second, quick. I think my video is visible for you. So is it visible, my video?
No, we are able to see
from my camera.
Okay. But that camera is behind you. Maybe then you need to unshare yourself in this. We can see your camera, but that is, as a thumbprint. Mahesh, can you join from your camera, your mobile phone itself? Then you can share your video. Okay, then Anam, can we move on to the next speaker as long as he settles his issue? Yeah.
Yes, sir. The next speaker for today's workshop is Dr. Lakshmana Prakash. Sir is currently working as Assistant Professor 2 in the Department of Information Technology, Bannari Amman Institute of Technology, Erode, India. He completed his master's degree in computer science and engineering from Anna University, Chennai in 2007, and later completed his PhD degree from Curtin University, Malaysia in 2019. He has more than 4 papers in referred journals and 8 papers in conference proceedings. His research interest focuses on wireless sensor network and machine learning. I request Dr. Lakshmana Prakash sir to share his views on recent research trends on AR and VR.
Dr. Lakshman, your voice is not clear. Still, your voice is not clear. Yeah, it's quite okay. Yeah. No, still you have reverberation. Your voice is not clear. Dr. Lakshman, you are on mute. Yeah, can you go ahead?
Sir, is it fine?
Yeah, it is fine. Please go ahead.
Sorry for the inconvenience. Sorry once again. And thank you, World Resource Organization team and the MGM University for giving this opportunity to present my view on ARVR. And good evening, one and all present here, and sorry for the inconvenience. I am Dr. Lakshmana Prakash from Bannari Institute of Technology, Erode, Tamil Nadu. I am going to share my research, the recent trends in ARVR. So some of our colleagues earlier explained what is virtual reality and what is AR and VR. So it was very much a simple thing. So when you're looking to virtual reality, we are going to replace the real world. We wanted the imagination. We wanted the imagination, which is suppose I wanted to be in US, or I am some people from a lower background. That's going to be a very poor country. When I want to, when you wanted to be there in US, or some people is going to be in Switzerland. So when you what they think is not going to be possible for everyone. So the technology is help us to simulate or emulate what is the things are available in the outside the world, which is we cannot be achieved. So the technology is helping us to achieve that one. Okay, so that's what we in the virtual reality, and the augmented reality is going to be replace the real world, and we are going to touch closer to what suppose we are thinking of. Okay, so this is going to be of a multimedia, or is going to be a simulation, is going to be there, and this virtual reality, you can see from this picture, is going to be there, replicates the environment what you are looking for when you are going for a Disneyland. Okay, when you are going for Disneyland, where is going to be a skating. So we want everything should be of a reality. So we are going to get the technologies help us to achieve on that. Okay, so it can be achieved by simulating the physical presence. Okay, so we want that to be achieved by or realized by the human, and we want an interaction. We want an interaction also with this. So this is what the virtual reality is going to be wanted to be look like. So we are a real world replaced with the real world. Imagination is going to the sky, Switzerland, or it can be of when you're fallen from the sky, or what are the things we can imagine. So why are people are looking into the virtual reality as well as the augmented reality is going to be very much interested in the sense. When you think back, even in the ancestors, we wanted to go to the Mars. People are always going to be think high and think aim is going to be there. Now, in the earlier days, it is not going to be possible. But the same dream was dreamt by Elon Musk. What is his objective? He wanted to make people to be live in Mars. So he's thinking of that much. The imagination is going to be that much higher. So if you imagine that much higher, then he started working on that. So when you are going to achieve the dream, when you are going to have an imagination. So this imagination is what the simple thing of getting to in reality. So that's what the AR as well as the VR is going to be doing. Okay, this virtual reality have the many types. Virtual reality is going to be of many types. It's going to be a stereoscopic display where you are going to say when you are going to move in, then we can we would have been realize this kind of things in a gaming experience, or when you are going for a theme park or an amusement park kind of thing. So this will be available all the places. Okay, just going to be off when you move, when you turn your eye with the help of this. The tool, we can just the imaginations and the things that are displayed on the screen will be moved along with you. So you can be able to easily realize that one. Okay, you can easily realize that one. So then you are playing with the games. Okay, when you're playing with the games, when you're going to see, is going to see targeting a particular place. So we can see that is the top of the mountain, as the top of the mountain, as the top of the curve. What is the things we are seeing? This is going to be imagined. This is going to be the targeted places. And another type of this is going to be this immersion and immersive technology is not almost like it's not a reality to a 3D. This is going to be of almost a virtual reality kind of thing only. You can see from this one. Okay, so how this is going to be helpful in the medical field, as earlier my colleague has explained. So it's going to be there. So when you when with the help of this gloves is going to be put, the headsets are available, then we are going to realize that what is happening inside that. So these are the kind of displays are possible when you are going to use your virtual reality. So it's going to be very much real world examples, and we are going to replace with that one, and with the gaming also is going to be possible. Okay, then the examples, how this is going to be multitude uses. Okay, the virtual travel, field trips, and the places, the spaces, and I just told that we are going to, Elon Musk wanted to go to Mars. So it's going to be a simulation, is going to be of anything. When you're going to open any high standard colleges or website, they will give a virtual tool. These tools are going to be explained, are created with the help of this AR and VR. Another example is going to be of the training, that simulation driving is going to be there, the driving. Okay, so it's going to be for a better practice before getting into the real, that is to put in the your hands in the steering. They will give same examples, same they simulated the same thing in the with the help of theirs in the driving, as well as the military applications. So it's going to be where it's going to be very hazard as environment, we cannot be replicated. Okay, so the very extreme conditions we cannot be created, all those things, but with the help of this one, people get trained. So these are some of the examples. Okay, then the gaming and your marketing and your education point of view, as well as your medical fields. These are all the things where we have been used this VR. And next, I just just go through some of the example. Then I will move on to the research as well as some papers and research articles worked on. The next one is going to be augmented reality. Okay, you can see the example of the picture. Yelp, I think most of the people have been used this Yelp app. It will give the business. Okay, when it's pop-up one, it will give you open up. So it will give the what is the menu available in that particular restaurant and what is the reviews and comments, what is the prices. So we can get that. So you can see that it's just with around just with remote on the hand, we can just get the details of all the nearby restaurants. Okay, so this app is going to be for the augmented reality. So we are going to add the real existing. So these are all the restaurants already there, but the details with the help of this app you are getting onto that. Next is going to be of digital. So you can, there is going to be a digital displayed will be with the help of the physical world. And to achieve this, we are having this headsets. These headsets and the HTC Wave. I think most of the people have been used to the things. These are the handsets, the gloves, and these devices are used to achieve this for augmented reality. So it's going to be a speaker, the gaming experience is going to be of high end, and the prices also a little bit higher. And now I have moved on to the research trends. First, I am going to discuss about the educations. How this education is going to be influenced by the ARVR because of this the right? So in the early days, the animation field. Okay, early days, the animation fields are there very much a little bit because of that. I move on to the simulation kind of thing. So in the simulation kind of thing, you can see that the teacher is going to the teacher is telling his content through the headphone. That is again here the need of the thing is going to be the devices. I just mentioned the previous slide. So these kind of devices are needed. So she will be giving the lecture. She will be giving the lecture, which is exactly the animated kind of thing. Will be will be viewed by the kids. Will be viewed by the kids. And there's interactions. Interactions also possible. Okay, interaction also possible. So the 3D world and the objects going to be created with this kind of things also possible. And the same thing is going to be, same content will be displayed to all other peoples, and the interactions also is going to be possible. So these are the simple example how we can utilize in the education field. And my main focus is going to be the agenda is going to be on architecture, engineering, and construction. So this is the research article paper I have gone through and make it as literature review to find how this AR and VR played an important role in the architecture field, engineering, and construction. So all the three put together, and I will going to give a study. I am going to give a case study on how these things are improved. And the final graph shows that how the AR/VR played, how the AR/VR going to be played is going to be very much important in this one. Okay, so in this, that is AEC, that is architecture, engineering, and the construction. So all the three fields put together. For this, the authors they have decided to find, and they decided the 6 use cases. Okay, 6 use cases are designed to explain the AR and VR, the influences AR/VR. Okay, here this is going to be any technology or ML or is going to be AI, whatever the technology is going to be there. But they stick to AR and VR, how they influence in these fields. Okay, in the architecture, engineering, and the construction, play an important role to develop the enhancement, the business development is going to be there. So for that, first they decide the stakeholder engagement. The first use case, next is going to be the design support. So what are the I will explain one by one a little bit later. The second is going to be a design support. Okay, the design support. So what is the support needed to make a construction? What are the things we needed? Next review during the process or the construction, how the design can be improved. The review going to be takes place. Then the supports for the construction. Okay. Then the fifth case is going to be operations and management. Operations and management. So now last one is going to be a training, so that it will be useful for the next set of project. When a company is going to be working on building up an asset, this if you follow this term means they will have a better experience when you're going for the next one. So they randomly these are the very important 6 use cases are designed. Okay, so you see that first is going to be a stakeholder engagement. Okay, so this is what their final outcomes look like. So what is the objective? They are going to construct a building of, say for example, of 10 floors with the square meter, with the internal architecture, or so many of the design also there. So there's going to be, so they will going to discuss. So what are the things needed to be there in the first floor? What is the design is going to be there? So the stakeholder engagement, they will be presented to the people who are all there. Okay, next is going to be a support during the construction. I will explain one by one. So what is this need of this picture mean? You can see that the current research is indicated that the application of AR and VR in the field of this construction and engineering. You can see that not used. Not used is the lowest case. Second is early testing, basic implementation, that is the partially used, and the final is 5 is going to be fully implemented. So in the scale of this 5, we are just the study shows that the VR technology is almost now only applied up to the basic implementation. We're telling that the technology is very much developed in all the fields. They are using everything, but the study shows we are only up to reach the 3.08. So only up to 3.08 is the basic implementation in the construction field is going to be there. That for the virtual reality experience, and then the augmented reality, that is 2.5. The same thing is the study shows the numbers for the design support and the design review, the construction support. The numbers are in the operation. So you can see that in the operation, the application of ARVR is going to be very much lesser. So it's going to be only 2. 2 is going to be an early testing stage only. So in the operation management, we are still in the testing stage. Okay, so these are the studies involved in that. So the first one, stakeholder engagement. So the people, when you are going to create an asset, that is a building and in the real estate. So what are the things the consumers needed? Okay, what are the consumers needed? So the builders is going to be given the models. So they will given the model, so they will give on a better examination. So what is the first floor? How is the strength of that one? All these things will be virtually explained to the consumer. That is our. So you can easily say that these are things needed to be done. So these are the things don't want. So it's going to be very easily when you're moving before going for an agreement. So the visualization will give a very better understanding of the assets what the people is going to be created. Second, another point of this is going to be a renovation. That is, the first case was building of a new assets. Second, if suppose you want to enhance the existing set of building, or is going to be a hotel is already there, but you want to enhance that, it means they will virtually created that. Okay, with the help of the AR technology, they are visualizing the renovation, and these are the first of the projects can be done with this kind of amount. So the discussion in the early stage itself, they have a better understanding from the both end, that is the developer as well as the consumer point of view. Okay, so this is going to be done with the help of the virtual tools. Okay, virtual tools is going to be there and the walkthrough. So with this, they are given so what I'm going to do as a company, say for GMR, or is going to be of any construction, very well-known construction L&T. So they will be using this technology to convince the consumer. Okay, they convince the consumer. So what is the product will be look like either after end of the construction. Okay, end of the construction. So it is involved the architectural quality. The challenges for the stakeholder is going to be not user-friendly. So why they're telling us not user-friendly means we can tell on the 5th floor we can do that kind of things, and the swimming pool is going to be there this much, but implementation is not going to be very difficult. The second point they mentioned, right, the experience, the AR/VR experience, what you realize in the virtual reality is difficult to shared to the other end, and its communication there will be difficult, as well as the implementation. So the user friendly is going to be the another first issue. The second issue they have found out. So these are the challenge they have found out in the research. Okay, they found out in the research. The next is going to be the as a sharing of the information. The sharing of the information is going to be a difficult one. So for the stakeholder enhancement, the engagement before the studying of the particular, they're finding out that much of the these are the steps to do, and these are the difficulties they have achieved. The second use case in the case study, what is going to be the thing, this if for example of building with 10,000 square feet with 5 floor with all this kind of environment, then the support's going to be takes place in the design. So how the ARVR is going to be helpful in that one. So here they will make a better decisions. I will tell right in the 5th floor, the swimming pool is not going to be advisable. Say for some reason is going to be that environment, that the sociology of the environment of the particular location is not going to be support. So these are the consequences going to be coming in. Before taking the decision, we are going to get the better decisions. Okay, so this is going to be the consequences going to be identified, and they will be taking the better decisions. So this is possible with the help of the creating the models. Okay, in the top of the you can create the models, and we can have a discussion with the consumer, and the stakeholders will be easily understand. So this is the steps you are going to be followed, and these are the things we are going to be doing. So this exactly how they are going to be developed. That's mean there's very much lower version of your Blender software, and FreeCAD and SolidWorks softwares are enough to develop this virtual reality examples. Okay, so this is the supporting the design support. When your design is done, then to enhance the design, they can people using this Blender and FreeCAD and SolidWorks to develop these models, to develop the model or convince the users. Okay, then the challenges in what is the challenge this use case provide is going to be, that is the same thing. Translate the changes when you are going for the discussion. They will in the ARVR point of view. The translation of the changes want to made into a real-time information is going to be a little bit one. So building of the information model is going to be a little bit difficult, and the review or the record the experience. So what you are experienced through the what you are experienced through the simulation is going to be difficult to make it as a support. Okay, so this is what the design support is all about. So what is the main objective is going to be, before going to the design itself, they are simulating the model and taking the better decision. So this will be done with the help of the very much free softwares, or it's going to be a lower end version softwares of Blender and FreeCAD and SolidWorks is going to be will be helping this to achieve this one. And my next use case the authors have taken is going to be of construction support. So when you are going to, once that the model is done, once the model is done, they're satisfied, okay, we can proceed, both parties are okay with the deal, then your construction is going to be starts, right? So in the construction, there are 4 stages: construction planning, monitoring, safety, and the support. So these are the 4 again sub use cases they have taken, and the study shows that in the planning, the focus on creating the immersive construction. The simulation is going to be there. So we are going to, for the first, it will go by step, module by module, the first floor. And when you are going for the hotel, in the hotel means what is the restaurants will be look like, and what is the boarding kind of things will be look like. So it's going to be of your simulation is going to be done through the stage by stage. So this is going to be focused on the reality, what you are looking upon. Then monitoring. The progress is going to be the second stage where they will be finding early detection of scheduled delay. So how it's going to be possible means, with the help of the previous study or the previous case studies, they are detecting that possibility of delays. Okay, so possibility of delays it may be due to some natural disasters, or is going to be a climatic changes, or the time of the year they are building up the particular the building. Okay, so they will predicting that. So this, for example, the monsoon season, if we start, then the construction is going to be takes place is going to be a little bit difficult. So that's kind of we maybe look like a simple decision, but they're predicting that it will be very much a cost-effective one when you find out that in the early stage itself, right? So this is what the monitoring is all about. So we are detecting that. We are detecting that early detection of the faults and the scheduled. The scheduling is going to be so that the delays is going to be very much easily avoidable. Then the safety. So the human safety, the people are working on that. Either is going to be is very much important one. So how we are going to achieve the safety is mean the hazard identifications. What kind of building you are going to be there? What there is any materials we can need to protect, and what are the safety measures you are going to be given to the people working on that. So it's going to be a hazard identification is going to be there. Then once done, the next stage is going to be inspection, whether all the protocols will be followed. So this thing will be done here also, right? That's the concern. So we need to give the work for the human life. The people are working on that. So the hazard identification done is properly. Safety will be easily going. We can easily monitoring the status and the safety of the people. So you can see that in the beginning of the construction of your football World Cup in Qatar. This was the bigger issue, hazardous situation the people are working on. They are already know that, but they are not predicted and they are not implemented properly. So once the Human Rights Commission is going to be working on that one, then they are providing the more safety to the people. So these kind of situations can easily avoidable. So then from the earlier mistake, nowadays all the construction companies are somehow they are going to give the safety for the people working on that. So the example of going to be of roofing the task in the virtual environment. So the roof placing itself, they are identified. The authors identify the roofing. The roofing is going to be the very difficult task when we are going for the construction work. Okay, so that this roofing task is going to be very challenging one. So they are given a exactly the simulation what should be done. So what is the height of the beam you are going to be used, and what is the width, and how many the material is going to be used, and how many workers are needed to be there, the working hours. The study is going to be done intentionally, very intense, and they given the data to the development team too, so that it is going to be benefit for the both the developer as well as the consumer also. So this study shows that roofing is going to be the big task, that's going to be a very important task, can be given as well, given a more concentration. That's more important things there. Then the operative support. So in this case study, here it is going to be of your AR is going to be help with the operation of the cranes. So why these robots and the cranes are going to be used means this will be very much helpful in the very disastrous management situation, as well as the situations are very extreme environments. It's going to be very heavy rainy kind of things. Very difficult for the humans going to be operate on that. Okay, very much difficult to operate under. So the tele-operation of robots going to be done. Teleoperation of the robots going to be done with the help of the instruction coming from the other end. That is, the human can be given the instruction, all those things. So this is what the operative support is can be handle this situation. So this construction support through the planning, monitoring, safety for the user, as well as the operative. When you are going for the very extreme conditions, this AR and VR is going to be done a very important role there. Okay, so so these are the case studies. So the among the 6 case studies, 4 is the important one. The time constraint, I just cut down the last 2, and this is indicated at the outcome of this research is going to be what? The research mapping the technology readiness as well as the time access. So we told, right? First is going to be first is going to be a proof of concept needed to be identified. Then the technology demonstration is going to be needed to be done. Then only we are moving for the system development. So it will take that number of years that in the X and Y axis. You can see that number of years, and the colors indicated the engineering grade devices what you are going to be used, and new technology is in this color, and the workflow management needed to be done to achieve what suppose I told earlier. So these are the use cases to achieve means. So how much time is needed to achieve this one? You can see that in this one is going to be up till road mapping and need to be done very early. So we are still in the beginning stage only. So we are there in the beginning stage. So we are in the beginning stage only. So you can see that proof of concept before moving to that. So we need of accuracy of the tracking in the location what you are going to be working on, and the mapping needed to be done. And we need to take all the things in me. We want to record the data, and accuracy is going to be there. Okay, then environment capture. So what is the environment capture is going to be there. So this is going to be the new capability. So next, if it is the proof of concept is approved, okay, the mapping is done and the display data in the 3D environment and the location we are identified properly, then we are moving for the technology demonstration. So in this technology demonstrations, it can be of a simulation. Okay, so it can be of a simulation, or it can be of a IoT as well as the real-time data implementation also possible. And next is going to be the object and gesture recognition and the real-time model modification. So these are all in among this one. The design support may be useful for simulation, and the construction and the operative management can be given to the IoT related framework. So the technology we can take at which use cases or which use case study can be applicable. So we can take that one. Okay, then it's going to be a perspective analysis will be done, and the control, the plant control will be there, and model of your HCI. So everything, the technology demonstration will be given from the use cases to use cases is differs. Okay, that's the gesture may be needed for one use cases, and another use cases will be needed for the simulation. So these things will be the technology demonstration. And the last is going to be the final stage. Okay, the development, whether we are going to be done it's in a comfortable manner. So it's going to be your comfort and the safety is approved. So it's going to be done with the engineering devices, and the model capacity is going to be there. Whether this is going to be done with the workflow management, either it's going to be multi-user devices for implementer, or is going to be a single user. So what that kind of things needed to be takes place, and the security, that's the security as well as the safety of the people and the privacy and ownership, everything will be done with the help of the system developer. So the proof of concept there, then the technology demonstration is made upon that, then we are moving for the system development. So one is all these things done, then we can move, we can get that things will be done. So you can see that the years is going to be what numbers in the early, what is the early stages, or is going to be in advanced stages, or it is going to be implemented in a full explained, or is going to be a fully enhanced one. So this was the case studies with the help of the construction technology along with the architectural as well as the engineering put together. They have taken the case studies and they apply the ARVR method. So what are the models we can apply on that, and what are the challenges they have gone through? What are the challenges they have gone through? Again, this use case is not going to be specifically we can identify. This is some of the very important things we can take in care. Okay, when you consider the stakeholder, there will be many other cases also there. But the authors are identified. These are the important things needed to be given. So once you are considered given to that one, the efficiency of that particular module can be much more comparatively higher than the other things. Okay, so these are the use cases they have taken, and their roadmap for the future agenda. Okay, how the technology readiness and the time access is going to be there. So number of years it will take to get into the system is going to be a newly enabled technology, how it is going to be takes place. So this is what the case study they done. And this is how the references I have taken for this presentation. And thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Dr.
Thank you, sir, for your excellent explanation about recent research trends on AR and VR. I guess Mahesh sir is ready now. So I request Mahesh sir to please start the session.
Sure.
Mahesh sir, you're there?
Yeah, he's sharing the screen.
Yeah. Hello.
Go ahead, Mahesh. Good.
Yes, sir. Okay. One second. Yes. Hello, everyone. This is Anand. Here,
Mahesh, before you go ahead, I wish to
Yes,
give a
please.
the participants also a small input.
Yes,
Friends
please.
who have all joined this session, please look into it carefully. This is not what you're going to hear or see as theory. It is all full practical. So if you really want to do something on augmented reality, this is the time. Please be aware and you be careful to learn. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So all the research scholars and students, everyone, greetings. So I'm a teacher and I'm also a very enthusiastic technology person who always try to integrate few technology together to make something work. So that's something like my passion. So that's what exactly I'm going to do today. So today we are not only going to see something related to AR/VR, but also we are going to see an application how an AR can be integrated to IoT. So I'll share my video from on my device. Just a minute. Once. One second, one second. Yes, I think now it's my camera is okay. Okay, fine. So some of you might know about this, right? It's an Node MCU. It's an development kit. Okay, so what we are going to do is this is an IoT device, and we are going to control this LED to turn on and turn off using VR application. So this is something so simple. So this is going to be the first part of the activity, and the second part of the activity is to control actual product. So this is an product from various company which can be controlled via network. So like this, my extension, everything can be controlled. So the activity is going to be divided into two parts. One, how to control when development board like Node MCU, and also how to take some data and control the finished products, what you can do in your home, what you can buy in your home, right? So this is not really, you might also knew that light bulbs also nowadays can be controlled by an internet through Wi-Fi, right? So if you're really aware what is inside this, I have already broken one of it and I have seen, exactly this is the device inside. Exactly. So the companies use development board, what you have been using to make these products. And with this, there will be also this in a small scale, which we call a relay. Okay, so this together will be in this device. So if you're really interested in making devices in IoT, something related to that with AR or VR, this would be a little bit basics, things which you could get an idea. Okay, fine. So let me show, before starting, let me show a small demo of how it works. So I have an app called Webinar here. You can see that if I just turn on the video and if I show some other template, okay, like the extension or this one, the hub, right? It doesn't recognize anything, right? And you might know all the previous speakers has told something about pattern based. That word you might be familiar by now, right? So this is something pattern. So what I did is I made this as a pattern. Which one? This as a pattern. And if I show a video on the pattern, it will show me an like a virtual button where I can interact with it. Okay, so let me show how it is. Okay, I think. Okay, now it's. I think it's okay. Okay. Wait, I'm just struggling where to point it out so that the clear it will be so clear. Okay, see now, I'm just trying to 1 second. As it's not a clear pattern, I just given as an image. Can you see now? I got some virtual thing on my image. So what I can do, I can now interact with those virtual thing. Okay. See, let me press it on. I'm not sure whether you are able to see it clearly. I'm so sorry for that. Let me try to turn on my camera a little bit here. Okay, you can see on and off at least, right? So I'm going to press it on and you see what is going to happen for that LED. It's on, right? And I press it off, it turns off. So it is virtually popped screen which has just on and off option which we use to control. This is so simple, right? This is something so basic. So this is what first we are going to check how to do. So before we start the session, I just wanted to tell you this complete session is all about basics. If you're not in programming, or if you doesn't know IoT, or if you doesn't know ARVR, it's fine. It's just going to cover you a basics where you can start something. And I would be not covering something like how to install a software or how to do some settings. Some basic things I will be not covering much. And I will tell you how to look for that. And at the final of the session, I will share you the links, whatever you have to visit or whatever might be needed for this particular to make on your own. Definitely, I will do that. So first, what we do? First, it's to make an Unity-based small like app, right? Let's first do that. So I'm just moving to my Unity software. So this you can download. You can go for the Unity software and you can download the Unity Hub. Okay, just note it down if you want. You can download the Unity Hub where you can. I will open the Unity Hub, and if it will ask you to install some editors, where this screen you might be seeing. Okay, and once you go to the install editor, you can choose the versions of it. But I'm using like 2021, so it doesn't appear here. So before giving install, this is something very important, as we are going to use it as an app. So we are not going to make a separate app for an Android, where Unity will give you and build an app for you, right? So to do that, we have to press this and okay. So once you press that install, you have to tick mark this Android build support, OpenJDK, and Android SDK, and you can give continue. As I already installed my editor, I just go to my editor. Here is my editor. And let's start a new file. So let me also just tell you what are the agendas for today's 30 to 40 minutes. So first 20 minutes, we are going to see how to incorporate or integrate the Node MCU and the Unity, and then how to integrate the the Unity VR with the actual IoT product. Okay, because it's something two separate things. One is a development product, one is a finished product. So we have to use a different platform to make it control and do some work on it. So let me create a new project. I hope name something has to be given here. So go for a 3D code. Okay, and the name project is fine. Let me name it as webinar IoT augmented reality and IoT. Okay, that's fine. And let me create. And my folder is here. This is something very important you have to note down. And it will take some time to open. So if you are not aware of what is an Unity, it's a place where we can create 3D models. And now you might be asking me, then if it is something about the 3D models, or it's something about the something making a game engine, so what is something to do with an augmented reality? So what we do have something called Vuforia, so which is an SDK for AR and VR. So let me go to that. So where it is, Vuforia, and you need some you need an account in a Vuforia. Vuforia developer portal. Right? I will be also sharing a link later for you guys so you can get an access for that. So the first thing what you have to do is you have to create an account. I do already have an account, so let me just log in. So that will take some time. So before that, let me try to log in and I will show you something. When I was explaining you. So, so before it get load, what we do is you've seen in the video, right, when I was demonstrating, which is when I shown an image, this image, right, this image, what it did, something has popped, right? So that image, that one we have to give us a image database into this Vuforia. So for that we need this site. So I do already have the image. I'll show you. Still it takes some time to load. So let it take. I think it's taking than normal. I don't know why. So let it. So I do already have an image here, and those images like this. Okay. And you can see here already inserted into this project called in the target manager. Okay, there is something called license manager and target manager. Target manager is the place where we give all our images, or we call as a target, right? So I do already have few images. Let me show you that. Not this one. This one, a demo one. Okay, and I do already tried before this session. So these are the images you have to give, right? So we are going to use the same. So, but how do you want to do? Let me show you. So it's something very easy. Once you go in, you have to go to the develop mode. You have to press an add database, and then it will give you what kind of thing. Okay, and you want to give a name. Let's say it's a webinar here, right? And then go for a create, and then first we will do the node MCU, right? That's the thing that we just showed, right? So here comes the webinar, right? So what I have to do now, I have to give in the image, right? So once it gone in, you have to press this add target and it go here. Now you have to browse. Okay, you have to find out the image. I have already taken an image, so I'm just going to give us an input. The image is this. I hope you can see this, right? The gesture of the thing, but actually it should not be like this. It should be more target based, but this is okay. It takes little time to detect, but anyway it get detected. Okay, so let me see, do I have any other thing? Yes, so let me take this as an input. Okay, I think we have to specify something called length, width. So let me give something 300, and then let me add. If there is no issue, like if it is less than 2 MB, if it has an like PNG or JPG, then it will be added as a target. Okay, so now we have this image. So what we should do? We should download the database. Why? We have to provide into an Unity, right? This database has to be moved into an Unity software. So for that reason, I'm just downloading it. And in Vuforia, you want to do one more step, which is a license. So what is this license? Now you want to like integrate the Vuforia, and which is an augmented reality or the virtual reality based SDK with and your account. You have to actually link with your Unity software, right? To do that, you need a license. So I do already have a license, but I'll show you how to get one. Very importantly, the free one. Okay, the get basic, I hope. Then you can give your name. Again, I give the name webinar license. Okay, and I just click this and I give confirm and webinar license. And how the actual thing look like? It's just a combinations of from some strings and some special characters. This is how it look like. Okay, now let's go back and see. Okay, that's good. So now we got our. The problem is this is the first time I'm using the what is this? The Zoom platform. So I'm just finding it difficult to toggle here and there. Okay, So coming back here. So this is the front view, or this is how it look like the Unity software. So first thing what we have to do, and very important thing is, we have to take an SDK from the Vuforia and we have to put it in. So again, we are going for the Vuforia portal, where you can see at the top downloads. I hope, yes, in downloads, you might see something called add Vuforia engine. Yes, it's a Vuforia engine actually to an Unity project, right? So let me click that and let me give, yes, let me give agree, right? And it get download. I already have downloaded. So what has to be done when I press that? Okay, I think it takes some time. So why can't I go and find out the one previously which I downloaded? Okay, download. Okay, let me check. I think this is the add Vuforia package. Okay, so once I press this, it will ask us to open here, right? So once I give import, so the SDK just get it. It will take some time. And now you might be asked, okay, would you like to upgrade? Okay, if update is fine. So if you want to know how would I know that it's been installed or it's been come into the Unity? So okay, well, once the package is resolved, then you can do a right click on this area. Just a minute, it takes some time. Okay, it's about to finish. Okay, in the meanwhile, let me give you something about this. Some of you might know about this and some I'm not sure. So this is an Node MCU, which is we call as a development board, where you can use it as a microcontroller. So you can, to put it in so simple, you can put like this. This is like a brain. If you give some commands, whatever it's been interacted or interfaced to this microcontroller can be get controlled, right? And the very good thing about this microcontroller is it has an inbuilt Wi-Fi, so it can be connected to internet. So that's something good about this. Okay, now the package is in to the Unity. So let's check. Right click here and see the Vuforia engine. So if you see a Vuforia engine, up to now everything is good. Okay, so we have to go for an AR camera. Okay, and in order to use Vuforia, you need to agree to the below terms. You just give accept. Okay, and let it be an AR camera. And in AR camera, we have to agree for a license. Okay, so click an AR camera, and let me track this little bit. So how do I hide thumbnail? Okay, that's good. Okay, and now you have to go for a open Vuforia engine configuration, which is down below. Okay, and you want to check where the licenses available. Yes, good. Here are the licenses. So this is the Vuforia package, right? So we are going to connect with our account using license. Okay, so webinar license is our license. So you can click that and you can copy it, please, and you can go back here and you can paste here. That's it. And add license. Okay, it's not necessary, I think. Okay, now the main camera is not necessary for this project, so let me delete that. Okay, and the camera is done. So what is an activity? The same whatever I showed you, I'm going to replicate it. We had a 2 button and we had a target image, right? So to bring in a target image and to make a button, to add a button to that, we need something called image target. Okay, there are a lot of target available. You can see here, area target, cylinder target, model target, right? We are going to target just an image, which is said to be like a target, right? Which we are going to set as a target. So you can, if you want, you can have the name, or you can name it as a blink target, something which will be more meaningful, which is really good. And then you can this image target. Now we taken an image, right? So what image we are going to set as a target? That's something very important. So for that to happen, you have to go back to view Fourier. You have to go back to the target manager. You have to database, sorry, not add database, I'm sorry. You have to go for a webinar, okay? And you have to go for a download and Unity editor, okay? It's same thing like how we imported the SDK, right? Once it get downloaded, you can click that, and once you click that, the database would be imported to your file. Just give import, that's it. It's so simple, right? And then, and again, I'll tell you, so go to the image target, and the top, you have to go for image from database, because it comes from the cloud database, right? And you have to select the name. It's, of course, it's in a webinar. And as we have only one image, it's automatically selected, and our image, right? Our image just comes here. So that's nice to see. If you want, you can press Alt. Okay, this is something very basic controllers, right? You might get some confusion. I'm just telling you, you have to press Alt, and you can just rotate. So it's like a it's like orbit. You can orbit around the target. So now what do we need? Now target is available. We need a frame, right? Where we can put our buttons, display our button to interact, right? So first thing, we need a frame. So to get a frame, go for object. Where is an object? Here it is, 3D object and plane. Okay, so we need a plane. Actually, a plane is available there. You might not be seen because it's too small or the. So let me click this one. See here, this option over here, which make the plane little bigger. So click the plane, click this, and now, oh, whatever. Click the plane, click this, and now you're allowed to make it maximum, right? Make it maximum. It's so simple. Make it maximum as much as, not as much as possible, just somewhere the image. Okay, now you know that we have to make it something horizontal, right? Sorry, the vertical, right, to the image. So what you can do, just make -90, which make it horizontal. So the image will be horizontal and the plane will be vertical for it. And now what you have to do is you have to press this one where you can move it here and there. Yes, see here, you can adjust it wherever you want on the screen. Okay, now it's good. So now we have a plane, right? Now we need a button to interact with IoT. So we need a button, right? It's so simple. Go to the plane, or okay, go to the plane, I hope, and then go for UI, not toolkit, UI, and go for a button. Okay, and we got a button. Can you see here? Okay, just import whatever it does. Okay, it's just a basics thing. First time it get import, I hope. Okay, it's getting imported. Okay, now you're able to see the button over here, right? Now what you can do is you can just you want to move the button, but before that we need one more button. Okay, so what we do, create another button. Let me duplicate it. Okay, let me duplicate it. Okay, and the button, okay, and the button we have to name it, right? So go for here, and the text you press it and on. Okay, and go here, press it and press it off. Okay, that's we named it. Okay, now we have to move this button a little bit. So I'm pressing here and I'm having here, right? And then press it Alt and have like this. And now we have a 2 button, on and off. Okay, now what do we need? We need a new material to hold this on. Okay, so let's create a material. So create, okay, a new material. Okay, there will be something called material here. Materials, yes, here it is. Okay, something like background. Okay, we need something. Okay, new background. Okay, let me give new background, and we have to take an image for that. So click here, okay, and go for albedo here and just select the background, whatever the image you need. This is just to get in the image. I do already have an image which is so simple, which says IoT at the back. Okay, I don't know whether it's available here. Let me check. Oh, it's not available here, then I have to take it in. So how do I take it in? I go to the desktop. I have to search for the image. Wait. Okay. This is an image. Okay, the material file. Okay, what is that is? It's just a pure image says AR IoT. You can put it on anywhere. You can design it, anything, the background, whatever you need, you can just design on your own. So just I'm just drag and dropping into the assets area. And now I'm making it maximum. Now I'm going back to the material. I'm going to change this option into cutout. Okay, and I want to go to this one, and I'm assets are available now, but we need asset called material file. Yes, it's available. I just selected that, then come here and emission and the color, and here also you can just to be the same color. So material, this is something so basic. You can make it so wonderful and so beautiful later by knowing how to change this material and customizing it. Just for now, I'm just doing it very basic. Now I'm going back to the canvas. Now this canvas, right, I want it to be an image, right? Because the canvas behind what I given is the image. So how do we get an image? Go to the UI. So I'll repeat again. You have to go to the canvas. Okay, go to the where it is, and add component and UI. Okay, and an image. Here it is. Okay, now you see an image is up here. What image? The one which you created for material has to be over there, right? So to do that, see here, the same canvas. Here the image where you can place is available. The place where the image can be is available. Now you have to select the material. So click it and select the, what is that name? New background. You can search here, otherwise new background. Here it is. Okay, now you see the images came down. So we're just asking what has to be there, right? It's a new image, and if you want, you can move that as you wish, because you can see that the button is just behind it. Okay, now you see here, as the button and as the target, this cannot be moved as it is a new material. So I want this to be move around in the AR screen, right? To make it move around in the AR screen, I have an option here. Here, screen space overlay, right? I want to make it whole space, and I want to take the AR camera, and I have to give us an input here. And now it's available. Now you see it's movable. See, it's movable. So that's it. So now what we have to do? Now I have to take this and I want to put it on the exactly where it is, right? So I'm pressing here, okay, and the plane, okay, not the plane, the canvas then, and I'm making it little lesser, okay, and this is a move button. Okay, if you want to move, you have to press this, and you can command canvas move. Okay, so canvas. Okay, I'm just moving behind it. Okay, and now you can see the one thing. You can press this and you can move like this, and you can take it wherever you want like this. Okay. Okay, now you can see the on and off is not much good, right? So you can adjust that as well. So you can press this move, okay, and you can take it little above or the side, or if you wanted to know it correctly, what you have to do, just move here, okay, then press the button and just bring it little outward. Now you can see on very clearly, then the button here, and take this off. Okay, now you can see. Now let me rotate and show you. On and off is perfect. You can see that. Okay, and if you want, still you can minimize the canvas. Okay, so this you can keep on going. This is something like more designing work, which now we are not going to focus, because just we are going to focus on the what can be done. That's it. So one second. I'll move this little bit above. Okay, that's perfect. So now what we do, this is all completed. Okay, now we got a design, we got a button, okay, we got a target. Now what, how we create and how the platform can be created for that node MCU to make this thing work, right? To make that possible, how do I take this out? 1 second. Okay, that's nice. Okay, so what do I do now is I go to the Blink platform. For those who doesn't know, okay, what is a Blink platform? It is where the Arduino or Node MCU, all development boards, you can connect here and without using any mobile phone app on your own. Okay, this platform provide a mobile phone app to connect and control. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a template, which is something it's webinar. It's process in it. It's like creating a project. Okay, and the hardware which I'm using is an ESP8266, and the type, the connection is Wi-Fi, and I'm done. Okay, and I'm going for a data stream. What is a data stream? It's like the data which move from node to the server and server to the particular device. Okay, so I'll explain that. So here it has to be some name. So let me call it a LED data. We are going to provide a data to the LED. It comes from a pin V0. It's a virtual pin. So what actually we are trying to do? Let me explain this a little bit. So once we press it, we are going to call an API. Okay. So API goes and hit the server, right? So the data from our mobile app, when you press on or one, will be moving on. So actually the API will be called. So once the API is called, the data one will be moved on to the LED. So once this microcontroller got the data one, it will make this LED to turn on and turn off. It's so simple. So with the Unity, what we are going to do, we are just going to call the API. So now the thing is, how do we create an API for this platform? That is what we are going to see. So once it finished the data stream, you please make it save and go to the search option. And okay, now you see how you might have some issue here. So only 2 devices can be connected at max. Okay, so what you have to do, if you want to create other, you have to delete one. Okay, you have to create one. So what are the things which you might take some time to experience? Okay, I'm just giving those points as well. So it might be useful for you later. Okay, a new device, and the template would be chosen right now. It has to be chosen here, which is a webinar AR, right? Webinar AR. I'm just creating it. So what is this? Now we got a token. What is a token? This is the ID what a server will be expecting. So anyone with this token comes to the server, right? It will make my LED to turn on and turn off. This is like an authorization, or it's like a key. Whoever bring a data with this token, they are allowed to control my microcontroller. So this is something so secure. I should not show you, but it's fine. Okay, this is just a device, right? But you guys, you should not show this authentication tokens to other, because it can be easily controlled. Now I'll show you how it is possible. So we got this, right? Now, if needed, I can show you one more thing. Okay, see, there is an alternative port in the mobile phone, which is to create an which is to create an app. Okay, so I'll tell you the app, which is Blink IoT. If you want, you can note it down. It looks something like this. I'll show you. See, it looks something like this. You can see the soon I created the web AR, it's available here. Now I can go here and I can create my own application. So if you're like a research scholar, or if you're a student, or if you need to do something about IoT, but it's a very miniature in your project or your research work, so you can use this platform, which will really minimize your work. Okay, fine. So now what we are going to do, so we got the token, we got everything fixed, right? So one more thing is available. One more thing we have to do, that is we have to program this node MCU. To do that, the programming is already available. A template is available. You can just search for Blink example. Okay, and the browser, here you go. Okay, and you go to the Blink, because the node MC is going to get the data from the it's going to get the data from server when the API is called. So I already have in some code called webinar LED, the same thing. So what I changed is, when you use the code, when you paste this code, the first 3 lines, right? You have to make a change. So where you can get that? That's what we just created, which is nothing but you have to go to the console, and in the this is we call a device area. This is a template area. In a device area, you have over here the device info. This is the one. Okay, this 3 lines of code, a token, a template ID, and the device name, which is corresponding to this project. We have to just where it is paste into the Arduino software. An Arduino ID is used to upload the node MCU here. Okay, and what else the changes? I want to give my password, that is a network where my node MCU has to be connected because it has a Wi-Fi to get connected. So I'm giving those details, and this is an actual code. You remember that we create a data stream of B0, right? So what we do here, when the data through the data stream, you can imagine it's like a pipe where the data flows, and we have to get it. So how do you get it? Use param as int. So you're getting as an integer. So now a data can be only 2, either 1 or 0. So if it is 0, then we are asking the microcontroller to turn off the LED. If it is 1, we are asking the microcontroller to turn on the LED. That's it. Pretty simple. Nothing else. So you have to upload. So what happens when you upload? Let's see. So it takes some time. So let's see it work properly or not. In the meanwhile, I'll show you one more thing. Let it get uploaded. In the meanwhile, I have an API to get control. This is a cloud API. Okay, so you can search for Blink Cloud API. You can get this link, and you can see this here. I'm replaced with my own token. Okay, this is my old project. Now I'm going to get my token. You know where I have to get my token? I go here. I told you, right? Anyone who comes with this token is accessible or can control my what is it? My device. So I'm going to replace here. And I told you either I want to give 1 or 0, right? Let me try it out. I'm giving 1 and it's not working. So I have to check why it's not working. Okay, this is the screen. Okay, 0. Still it's not working, I think. So what do I do now? Oh, just now it connected, I think. So okay, I have to check what went wrong here. Just on our terminals. I close it. I re-upload again. Because the problem is it sometimes hesitates to connect to my network. Okay, this network, I think it's poor right now. So let me change my network. I'm changing my network. Might be a reason. How do you check? Okay, so the moment when it get finished its code upload, you can see over here. Okay, loading the sketch. I'm sorry, it's again trying. Okay, it's got it. Okay, you can press this and you can see things over here. Okay, it's still not connecting. Okay, it's connected. That's something cool. Okay, so I just want to press this. I'll show you. I want to make this 1. Okay, I'm pressing it 1 and I'm pressing it enter. It's not turning on. Actually, it has to turn. So let me check my token one more time. Token is here. That same token 2T is given over here. Okay, 1. Okay, actually it works. Okay, because I shown you a video, right? It works. It's the same procedure. It might be my network or because of some other reason. See, I haven't received my data here yet. So there should be some other reason for this. Okay, so what I do, I'll keep it. I'll proceed with the next step, which is I want to do some small code for that. Okay, to make that, I need a C#. Let me go create C#. Okay, and then let me name it. I have to name something. So Blink or Blink URL. Okay, because I'm just going to call some URL from it. So I go in. Okay, I go in. I just open my thing in my, what is that? editor, one of my editor, I have a code here. So I just go copy my code. It's a simple code. I'll explain that. So when the button is clicked virtually, okay, so what has to be done here? That's it. Okay, it will call open. Once it will open, it will call the URL. That's it. So simple. I just give it. Then what else we have to do? Let it take some time. So what else we have to do is we have to give this blink URL to here. This button over here. Okay, the spelling somewhere is wrong. We have to take care of that. So blink URL here. It's a blink URL BLYNK. So the class name has to be same. So once the class name is same, you can save it. You can minimize this. You can the script all will be compiled automatically. It's as it is in Unity, it will just compile the script automatically. It will allow you to do the further process. Only everything is good. Okay, see, make sure that there is no compilation error. See, there is, I think there is yet a compilation error. What is that? Oh, the URL is small. Okay, now I'll just make it again here. And see here, I'll just move here. Okay, and I move here to this button. Now we have to customize that. How to customize the button? Let me show you. It's something so easy. So we have to go for this place and this button, right? We have to take it here, and we do have a button 1. Okay, I think then this is not okay. So let me tell you what should be available there. Okay, so see, now the blink URL is available. The class which we created and the asset which we have, right? So I'm telling it to open URL, right? So what has to be done? Actually, this hasn't worked earlier, but anyway, I'll try it again. It's not working yet. Okay, that's fine. I'm just copying this, but this is an actual procedure for sure because I just tried before the session. Okay, and I want to put over here. Why? It's so simple. Now you see, when I press this button on, this URL will be called. This will be redirected to the cloud of the blink, and then the LED turns on. That's what we did earlier, right? It's simple. And then button 1, we have to do the same. Place, okay, and object of button 1, and go to the blink URL, and then what? And open. Okay, but only one change you have to do. What is that? Earlier we given 1 to turn on, now 0 to turn off. That's it. URL parameters get changed over here. It's so simple. And I have to go to the Unity and I have to paste here. That's it. Okay, and when I turn on my video here, okay, it get detected. This is the project. It's completed. All right. Now you'll be asking me a question: how to convert into an Android? So let me quickly tell you that. So go here, build setting, okay, and Android, okay, and then you want to go for an Android, and you have to switch platform. Here, one thing you have to be very careful, which you might take some time to find it on your own, which is you have to see what is your mobile phone, what is it, the OS. Based on that, you have to change on your player setting. I'll show you how to do that. So you have to go to take some time. You have to go for the player setting. You have to go for, and you can select the, what is that, the texture. Okay, you can select the same template you want. It's not must, but you can do. And what is that? Okay, here it is. It will be appeared on your project name. Okay, here down. Okay, in the additional, not additional, here. Okay, see here. Okay. Its script is getting. Sometime it compiles here. Okay, I'm sorry. I just take to my school children, so it just comes here. Okay, here you have to go for something. Whatever it is available to you, it's 26 or 27. Mostly I go with 26. My app supports here, but you can check your app and you can change this. This is the only problem which comes for you while you taking away the app. Okay, and to make it work. And if you click build, okay, that's it. No issues. Then you can give your name, like I'm giving webinar APK, something that, and just give save. You just put it in the file. So this is how you make development board to make it work, right? And the second phase is how to make with a real IoT product. Let me give a quick glance because it's already time. It's only 5 minutes more. Okay, now you have to go to the cloud. You have to go to the, what is that? Okay, see, this Tuya, okay, Tuya is the where you can connect all your IoT devices. All the manufacturer around the world, they make a device in a such a way that it can be connected to this Tuya platform. Okay, please do visit how to install and do the Tuya. And whatever the important things on creating, let me tell you, you have to make sure the data center you select, right, it's on your own region. Okay, so that you have to make sure. Then other than that, it will be all okay. Then I'll show you what are the other things you want to note it down, or it might take some time to figure it out. And you want to add a devices to this. Okay, so how do you add a devices? So devices, I'll show you that as well. Go to the devices. I'll make it faster. Go to the devices. Okay, in the devices, oh, that's that. Okay, I suspect that it happens. I'm ready with the password and everything. Okay. Okay, cool. Make it faster. That's nice. Yes, so you have to just make a captcha. Come on. Okay, so go to the device and you want to link the device. So how to link the device? Let me show you. So you have to go to the devices and you have to go to the link to your app account. Okay, and I will that this it's already linked. Okay, but I will show you how to link. For this, I think I need my camera to be turned on. Let me check. Okay, I think this camera is not able to turn on, but I'll show you in my camera here. That's so sorry. So I will show my camera here. There is an app called, okay, I'll show you the app. I'll tell you the app called Smart Life. Okay, it's something, I hope it is visible. I'm so sorry because I couldn't able to turn on my thing. Okay, now you have to press here. Okay, and add device. And then you have to select what kind of home devices you are going to connect in. We are going to connect the power strip. It's an extension with the Wi-Fi, right? And you have to select the network. I'm going to select my network. Okay, just give me a minute. Let me select it and I'll show you. Okay, I'm going to select my network. The reason is the network, what we are going to select, it will be a network for the device also. So, okay, now the network is selected. Okay, and I'm giving next. Now what you have to do is see, this would be the device. Okay, and I wanted to long press it. See, wait, to make a customization. I'm so sorry if the video is not much clear. Okay, now it just starts to blink random. See, now it start to blink random. That means it's the device is ready to connect. Now I want to just give next, and now my mobile phone is asking, is the device is blinking fast or slow? Actually, my device is blinking fast. That means it's a kind of a device what it's going to connect, right? I'm going to give it an option, whatever it asks, and that's it. It got it connected. It's so simple, right? That's it. So now what I did, I connected my home devices to my mobile app. Now you would be asking me, you just connected your home devices to the mobile phone, but how we are going to connect to the Thea? It's so simple. So go to the add app account. I'm sorry. Yes. Okay, and there will be scanner. Okay, in my device over here. Okay, in my device over here, I have a scanner. I'll show you. Here in my account, I have to go to my account. Okay, I have a scanner over here. So if I scan that particular scanner, you know what happened? My device is connected here. So actually right now, okay, actually right now, my device would have connected here, right? So now this is done. So 1 second. It is showing it should be connected, but now what I did, I just disconnected. So this will be not available, I think. Yes, it's online. That's nice. So what do I do? This is the device ID. So you see here, this can be controlled with a postman. So what I did, what is a postman? Let me tell you. Postman is an API. Like you can customize your API and you can manage your API. So I will later share you a file where I do have an Tuya library for this API. Okay, so these are the environment for Tuya. So there are 2 files you have to install. I will share the file later. So these are the environment and this is the collection. Okay, this is the collection. And what you can do, you can control the device over here. So if you think that you want to send the thing, okay, the same device. If you think that you want to make it like you want to make it control. Okay, false invalid token because the device is not at set. One second. I just turned off the device, right? So it will be turning on. So what I'm trying to say is the home device, you have to take it in from your mobile phone and you have to attach to the Tuya phone, and that's it. You can control using the Postman API provided by the here. Now the catch, we got an API and you know what can be done with the Unity, right? So you bring the API and you give to this project, and whenever you click the button, you call the API. That's it. But there is some turnaround you have to do for this particular project, particularly that you can do some self-running. So this is from my side. So I just gave you an idea of how to connect your development board or your home IoT to get tracked by an image target tracker, and which can be interfaced. So with this project, okay, you can do 2 things. One thing is I showed you only the development board based, right? You can control your to your products. Okay, that's first thing. And second thing is you can make an augmented reality. What do I mean? Virtual button. Okay, there is an option available in the Unity. I press the button on my mobile phone, right? But that's not necessary. You can press it in an app. For an example, all the resource person told that there is a head mode, right? So how do you press it on the head mode? It's not possible, but you can press it on the app, which detect by a camera to interact with it, which is also possible if you get this basics in this like. Thank you so much. If any questions.
Thank you, Mahesh.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for such an excellent practical demonstration. Now we have with us Dr. Krishnan Umachandran. Throughout the value chain of production to marketing in beverages, pharmaceuticals, building tiles, footwear, medical or surgical devices, currently serving as general manager and guides the dispatch performance and EBITDA of India's largest grey and SG iron foundry, with 3 factories having an installed capacity of 140,000 TPA. Sir have a passion for research and have published more than 300 articles. I request Dr. Krishnan Umachandran sir to address us on applications of ARVR in clean room process machineries.
Thank you, everyone, for being patient to listen. This being a very important webinar, my portion is going to be on to the total application. Having been a project manager and being implementing projects in IT and ITES, this project, what I'm going to share with you, is the one which is going to be the backbone for another 20-25 years for the younger generations to pick up as a career. See, AR, VR is all onto the virtuality, right? But where can we implement it? Augmented reality is being implemented in industries where clean room processes are there. Clean room means where there should not be any error or there should be more of high precision. This is the area where the industries are always going on for augmented reality implementations. To go further, one second, let me move the screen down. Yeah. Why do we go for augmented reality or virtual reality? See, virtualization is almost like a dream. We can create it anywhere. But it also helps us in increasing our perception for information. This is the more important part. See, data as a computer generated one is a virtual one that needs to be linked with the reality. Why it should be linked? Because people have deficiencies. Deficiencies like two people cannot have the same level of attention. Two people cannot have the same level of thinking. Two people cannot have the same level of memory. No two people can have recall capacity, or no two people can have the ability to perform also. So then how can an emerging technology be applied? This is where augmented reality and virtual reality are coming. So how to increase the attention, thinking, memory, recall and all is the one which is going to be given by augmented reality. So mostly in the areas like where you have clean areas for food and pharma, if you want to do products like onto medicines or eatables, or onto precision oriented like space launch, or wherever you have machines which require more of a precision mating and relationship tuning to be done within the parts, then these are the areas in which augmented reality can go in, because that is the investment which can give a payback. See, for example, in life products, be it for animals or humans or food or pharma, diagnostics is the one which takes augmented reality. Drug manufacturing takes. Automation in surgeries and things will take. It can go in with bulk production, bulk pharma or formulation pharma. So in all these things, you can go in with AR implementations. Why you need to go in AR? Because these areas are very clean areas. These areas cannot go with more of people flocking into it and doing a disturbance. It will be only one or two operators in the total sphere of space, and the attention of repair or maintenance or whatever has to be done with many, minimum people to get into that space, because that is a clean area. See, in a clean area, you will have machines, and these machines will be controlled by a PLC or a SCADA. PLC is programmable logic controls, or supervisory controls and data acquisition. And this can be connected with manufacturing execution systems or with the ERP as of now. These data is the one which is going to be making us to decide what to be done in the future. Because machines of this sort have to have a preventive maintenance. You cannot go for a breakdown maintenance. So when you want to have a preventive maintenance and a good quality to be ensured in the product, then you can apply these emerging technologies, all simulations, systems integration, additive manufacturing, anything, whatever you can do, including AR, VR, IoT, big data. You can get robotics, many things. All these are for enriching these practices to a predictive maintenance. So a preventive maintenance becomes a predictive maintenance using technologies like big data and artificial intelligence for the sake of ensuring a quality, going with the regulatory practices being prescribed by US FDA or Indian FDAs, and also go for constant change so that you have an error and a future proof that a manufacturer gives a best product to you. To ensure this only, we are having clean room processes. In addition, there's a lot of synergy that has come now. Surgeons are not only doing their best with their own hands. Today, all surgery is being done by machines. So Industry 4.0 automation has improved the surgical processes, and it has improved the efficiency and capability and capacity. Earlier, it was only endoscopes and laparoscopic was a minimal invasive. Today, it is all cyber surgery. You have high precision surgery right from your retina handled by your cataract surgeons, or having your not only your eye, any part of your body being done to a precision by these surgical instruments. How can these surgical instruments be precise? Because they are now being connected with manipulator robots, micro manipulator robots, so that they go into you and they can handle your vital parts of the body that needs to go on for a surgery. And now there is more of assistance to the surgeons by multidisciplinary team. It's not only one medicos doing a surgery. It is engineers, you have surgeons to go and there is a lot of knowledge that is shared between the core surgeons and the engineering part. So you get a better delivery to the patient. How? It's because the artificial intelligence has come. Intelligence, when it is with human being, it is always, it has a bias. But when it is going with a machine, it is always, pure. Artificial intelligence does not demarcate, I like, I don't like. So they go with the big data. They take the resources like materials or machines or human beings, and they call out the algorithmic oriented output, which helps these machines to understand and deliver their content. So if you want to go like this, what happens is the ARVR, many people, including Rajalakshmi, Mahesh, Dr. Lakshman, Dr. Tamane, everyone were talking about the tracking. Here you have a picture with you. The picture is already captured by you, which is called the target. This target has to meet the real one. Real one is called the line of sight of information, they say. If you go to the real one and your picture matches, then from then onwards, your computer should be giving you the input of how to do it. You can be a novice, you can be an expert, do whatever it is, but the machine is then going to prompt you like with a pre-mapped AR targets, and that goes with your line of sight. And they help you in your odometry, your position and orientation, how to look into. Then they also go in with your simultaneous location and mapping. And this is where the LIDAR comes, where we already have another professor there in our group, Dr. Bose. He is one of the specialists. We'll try to map him for the next program. See, these kind of things are either model-based or model-free. You can, if you have a model-based, then what you do is you take a picture of it, and then you scan it, and then you create a 3D model for it, and then you pick up your CAD data and link with it. So the CAD data is what you have with you, and the real part, the CAD data is matured, it's trained based on your 3D, and the real data is going to have the line of sight of information, where you need to have the depth map, because what you see on a reality is not going to be on a 2-scale XY axis. It's going to be on a different axis. So you use VisionLib or Vuforia. Vuforia is the one which many of my predecessor experts have told about you. So it's better you also get into it and do it. It's not only 2D that is going to be coming. You will also have videos that needs to be checked through AR. This is where you can have a model-free kind of a tracking using algorithm which is being developed for it. Okay. Going further, what happens is there are a lot of tracking systems, a lot of sensors being available. It can be either on a tracking, stationary tracking, it can be on an optical tracking or a mobile tracking or a hybrid tracking, working out with all our GPS, right from our phones to Wi-Fi available, magnetometer or a gyros, what we have on our phone, mechanical, electric, whatever sensors we have, all these sensors are connected to the IoTs. IoTs are the ones which take these basic raw inputs, and then they convert it into the signal that the computer algorithm can learn. Before I go further, the AR, let me limit myself to AR. AR has a head-mounted device. Though you can use a mobile phone or any visual tracking system, handheld device, head-mounted device is the one which is normally available now. See, what we do is head-mounted device goes and looks into a scene. The scene is being linked to your picture. So there, how to link it, how to match it, that is where you have your camera coordinates. The camera coordinates doesn't work on your points, lines, blobs, but they work on your planes. That's what Mahesh has already told. Okay, because points is to accurately touch a point, it is tough. Lines may be missed, even blobs can have a spatial relationship problems. But then the plane is the one which is being done. So the sensors which you either wear on your body or you have on your handheld device, what they do is they go through a process flow. The reality is met by the image. The camera helps in coordination of finding the points, and then there is a sensor to which the real connection happens here. This is where the augmented reality comes alive. See, this is where the artificial intelligence, if you have already participated in our artificial AI in a workshop, you would have understood this. See, you have a raw measurement, which can have a data, and that is being transduced because any raw input can have to be converted into an electrical input. That's where transducer comes. And then transducer input is being converted into a binary input. That's where you get the data. And then you pick up the pattern, or you have to have a feature extractor going for identifying the features, because patterns goes and shows you only on a broad scale, but features, like for example, we are going to see a person. Pattern is everyone has 2 eyes, 1 nose, 1 mouth, 2 ears, but a feature differentiates. Your face is different, my face is different, because our features are different. Then comes the classifier, where we classify men separately, female faces separately, animal faces separately, and then we classify it with the weights, and then we introduce for the AI. So as we go further, these AI's weights are the ones which are going on for a signal generator, where we are getting into a supervised learning. It's nothing but we are training our system to do it correctly. Ultimately, what AI requires us is an unsupervised output, whereas now we are training. So we have to give weights, we have to remove the errors, we have to remove the bias, and then make it into a acceptability. This is where the AI comes into AR or VR, and then into this clean room. When I'm going to talk about this clean room equipments, maintenance has to be done for these machines. Sometimes you have to do some service inspection for these machines, and there is something called compliance that needs to be done for these machines output. So for all these things, you can use the camera from an outside point to identify what to be done and how to be done. This is where the clean room comes. Otherwise, if everyone gets into the room, then it's not a clean room. So for this, it's not only augmented reality or virtual reality. This day is going to be on a mixed reality. You're going to have a real environment. You're going to also have a virtual environment connected with all these things. So the future is now working on various realities that needs to be connected to the machine. So now come. See, when we are using a computer, we have the mouse or you keypad and you keep on doing it. But when you are getting an input from a glass, from a vision space, there are many vision spaces available, like Metaspace glasses is available, Google has a glass, Microsoft has a HoloLens, DAQRI has a smart helmet. All these things are interactive handheld or head mounted displays that you're having for identifying where you want to get linked with. This is a basic model on which any AR gadget looks. It's a wearable. It can be virtually connecting with any equipment or process to which you are customizing. So this is a build rugged one with hands-free, compatible with any personal protective equipments. A high resolution micro display is there. Your eye can see what you're seeing on reality versus the image what you are having as in the ecosystem. And it is also voice controlled so that you can get expert advice in addition to what this computer can also tell you, assist with. So now coming on to the marker based. Marker is more important because when you have a picture on the reality, pictures can have, see, for example, you are going into a garden and you are going to take something, you are going to assess something. There will be plants all across, but where you want to do, so you need to have a marker at that area where your picture can talk to that marker, and that is the target or token, which Mahesh was telling. You identify it and then you go on for studying, else it will all be the same. So to remove all these confusions, your camera post point from where it has to be done and the planar marker. It's not a line, it's a 4-point marker on which you have to capture your image syncs with the line of sight of information, and that is linked to the printed tag in the path of the visibility where you're going to have. So you have assurance of what you're seeing. You're not lost. You just don't wear the glasses or your gadget and you get lost. You are going to a specific thing, and that specific thing is what the marker is helping you to identify and go through. So as you go through, when you take pictures, you cannot take pictures just like that. You cannot take pictures on a graph sheet. You cannot take pictures on a grid line. Here, for all these things, you have to take it on a checkerboard. This is the more important part when you do your customization, so that you don't miss. Every area is clearly reflected. Next, as you go with this pictures, what happens is you should not have shiny pictures to be stored in your computer. or in your in a library, where you need to have virtual objects are not realistic, but artistically differentiable. Because if you have some borders, if you have some shadows, everything should be captured, but it should not look like a glossy picture, because what we have is the one which is for a detection. So this should have a clear, bright color and a clear border to differentiate what we are seeing with the reality, and then match with it and then go on with it. Shadows are required because shadows are the ones which connect to the process. If you have too many objects in front, the shadow from one end to another is the one which connects. So we need to have shadows, and because the shadows blend the environment. This is where we get on to the reality. Shadows are there in reality, and our pictures should also have it. It's not, we do in a rendering for a beauty. It is a non-photorealistic rendering we have to get in for AR. And here in AR, we are going to give visualized instruction and tagging. So already there are some good experiments done across in Columbia University. They have done a project on ARMAR, Karma, Arvika in Germany, and then StarMate. All these things are already available. If you wish to learn from it, you can still go on, picking up knowledge from here. Because knowledge is one, not from one source, from many sources you can learn. So there are leaders in the Silicon Valley in US who are like ScienceSoft, iTech, Art, Niantic, Scanter, next now CitrusBits, Apple, and all these guys are recruiting in a mass scale of people who are with this kind of a skills to identify how to get to this place and work for the future, because this is going to be for another 20, 30 years, a good employment arena. So you can work on your web apps, where you can, if you can develop your streams, media, recorder, screen capture, generator areas, or speech synthesis, or WebSockets, or whatever is a device orientation and motion, etc. on the web apps, or on the QA side, where already Dr. Tamane was telling about the head-mounted device and the 6 degrees of freedom. And you still have more. Rajalakshmi was coming out with 9 degrees of freedom. And then your IMUs, inertial measurement units, where your body movement or your product movement or high-end gaming, everything can be measured through this unit of sensor, or MEMS, which is called the micro electromechanical system for angular movements. These are areas where you can help yourself learn and pick up the skills. In addition to it, if you can know programming languages or hardwares or simulations like OGLE or MMU or MyHDL, then you can go on for a lot of 3D graphics that can go screen grab, view source, and a memory cachement. It's not a big CPU you have a chip that needs to be inserted in your device, and you can customize such kind of a thing and get on with the hardware verification languages for being independent on a PLI module. So this is where the course simulation can help you really be, helping the end user, do it from a faraway area and get his work done. So to do all these things, the main important part is the UI UX design, user interface, user experience design. This is more propagated by big data or DevOps. Because the environment design is where you're looking like, you're looking through a window. You're not there really, but you're looking through a window, a virtual window. So you look into a lot of volume of 3D products or animated data or whatever it is. You can get connected with the audio or video content or color, text, whatever empathization you can get in through a lot of gestures. Like, you tap or you swipe or you pinch or you rotate or you air tap or you give a voice command or you hover the product, whatever you've captured for being controlled, or facial expressions. Any of these things can communicate. It's not mouse or a keyboard which is going to play for interactions. All these signals are going to be connected. So deep learning comes into play. It's not only machine learning, it's more of a deep learning. All your sensory inputs that gets into its reality. So augmented reality is going to be a much higher version of emerging technology being connected with a lot of technologies. Okay, now coming on to the machines. I limit myself and I close myself. See, this clean room machines has a lot of stakeholders. Everyone was talking about stakeholders because Stakeholder is a person who not owns the machine, who is working with the machine, who's get benefited by the machine. Everyone is a stakeholder. And then finally, application, how you use this machine, being interacted with your AR, and you overcome your hurdle. Because when you want to implement any AR or VR in an industrial atmosphere, what happens is there is already a business flow which is happening. You cannot stop everything and then say, I'm going to customize it, I'm going to implement it. No. As a project man, we have to live with their problems and see to that this is being done. So in a clean room where you either manufacture a food product or in a pharma or for a high precision orientation, you should be taking consideration of all these three before you get into the activity. And especially restricting myself to the predictive maintenance, which happens in a pharma industry, there's a lot of information that goes to be done. It requires a lot of collaborative systems, and it requires smart devices. All these things are invested for what? It is for reducing the cost on a long run, and you prevent the failure. So for these things, if your AR and VR is going to support them, then your project is going to be accepted for implementation. On a real time, when you take a clean room, it is called as condition-based maintenance. It's not predictive or preventive, it's conditioned, because a machine requires, and then you need to protect it. So on a real time, you identify. So it is like an annual checkup of a machine. You pick the big data and you do the timing and scope. So for a short time, I would require, and I'll control all these parameters in the machine. So if you want to do it, this is where the RUL comes. The remaining useful life of a machine has to be predicted on a constant term, so that you go with the processes of the signal of the machine. You machine learn, deep learn, you do all your AI part, and then you analyze the data, and then you come and say, I can prevent accidents which are oncoming towards this machine, and thereby I'm going to control the parameters of the machine, and then conditions of the machines are for removing the errors and identifying the changes, and then you go on for less cost or quicker recover. This is where the total thing comes. Again, here in AR, we have big data, we have the intelligence. Big data is an input to intelligence. So you have a lot of data on warehousing, you have data on computing, you have data to be engineered, and you have data to be mined. So you have your database system, RDBMS, you have to investigate, you have to visualize the data, then you process the data, store the data, retrieve the data, and you have to extract the data, transform it, and load it. And while you extract and load also, then you think whether it is really required, discover and reason, and then you take the right data for a BD coordinate that needs to be fixed into your algorithm. So here you have a long log web crawl stream analysis to be done on your image, video, or text processing. Then you analyze, archive, and this is the total large scale of data that goes into making a real convincing decision to be done through your clean room for your clean room machines. Finally, clean room performance or timing. Everything is money. We are not experts on the machine. We are experts on the technology. We can only help them accept our technology only when we follow their recommendations. So every original equipment manufacturer has a recommendation we need to understand first. We cannot go against them. Then there is a performance that is to be done by the company or the organization. So you should ensure that you always go better than the performance which is available and not to reduce their performance. Then regulatory requirements, you have to comply with the regulatory requirements. You cannot overrun or fool up. So then comes the uptime. A machine should be available for a particular time, and that time should be maintained and it should be enhanced. Then you have to reduce the stoppages. For that, how can you see what to be seen, how to be seen? Those are the things. And then the life of a machine, because every asset has a life on which it is depreciated. So you have to identify the life of the machine, and finally you get the end user to be accepting it. This is how a project for AR or VR can be convincingly employed. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you, sir. Anybody having any queries?
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, Dr. Ghosh.
Yeah, I mean, the last talk was pretty much interesting. I mean, your talk basically was pretty much interesting. And we were talking about AR, VR, we were talking about computer graphics, and most of the computer graphics that we usually study is from the Newman's book, essentially. So the basics of computer graphics haven't changed. We are actually extending it to the technology of AR and VR. Uh, However, see, I am from the Department of Civil Engineering actually. I do work in a lot of computational work. Uh, in civil engineering, there are certain exercises which are done by the students, but you see, we don't. There are those equipments are very expensive. For example, the lidar equipment that we are talking about. The lidar equipment is aerial lidar is also available. I mean, the lidar equipment is mounted on an aeroplane, and there is a terrestrial lidar, and there is a handheld lidar also. These equipment are there, but they are very expensive. So it would be interesting to design simulators, AR/VR simulators. Now, when we are doing the data collection from the field in civil engineering, there are certain regulations of civil engineering. So if I were to design a system which will enable multiple students to participate in a game-like environment and then actually use AR and VR to participate in the game-like environment, collect the data from a simulated landscape, and then prepare the map from it. Because cartographic mapping is important, and that will be an interesting exercise. Uh, uh, I mean, I guess though that kind of research or that kind of development would be much useful. You are talking about the life of the machine. In the last slide, you were talking about life of machines. I have a colleague of mine who is working in the Department of Mechanical Engineering, and he works in the domain of reliability analysis. So life of machines, of course, you can use AI and VI, artificial intelligence or say temporal prediction, but without reliability analysis, that will not be possible because different machines follow different kinds of statistical distributions.
Correct.
And typically, about railway engines, they follow the Weibull distribution. So without understanding of stochastics, those predictions are not possible. That's what my input is.
No, your point is well valid and it is taken care because that is where the subject area experts are required along with our team. See, what we know is how to take a data, how to picturize it, how to put a target or how to make a marker or a tag it, and then connect it into a reality, we can do it. But what the machine has to do, how it has to do, everything is where we have to have the team along with us. That is where when we do implementation of any of these kind of emerging technology implementations, we always take with us the subject area experts along with us, and along with them only we do. Because if a subject area expert says no, then we have to think through in a different way. We cannot. No, we are only facilitators. It's like no, I make glasses. If I make glasses, if the customer, the end user is not okay with the power, then whatever glass I make is of no use. So he is the one who has to tell me how it has to be done, what has to be done. So we take your word and spirit into whatever you have told. Right. Thank you very much. Any other questions? If there is no questions, Anam, we'll close.
Yes. Thank you, Dr. Sharvari Tamane ma'am, Ms. Rajalakshmi Mahadevan ma'am, Dr. Lakshmana Prakash sir, Mahesh Anand sir, and Dr. I appreciate you all for your brilliant explanation regarding augmented and virtual reality. This workshop really made us aware of emerging trends in augmented and virtual reality, its day-to-day applications, and its importance in research. This workshop has enlightened us all, and I hope this provides us with innovative approaches to deal with various engineering problems of tomorrow. Thank you to everyone who made this workshop possible with their participation, doubts, opinions, and views. Now I declare this as the end of this one-day workshop. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Tamane. Thank you, Dr.
Thank you
Ghosh.
all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.